Good morning and welcome to my silicone wedge demonstration. So, yes, I find ways to up-level my art as well as ways to express myself. So if you've been following me for any period of time, or maybe you're new to following me, just know that my creative expression is grounded in the painting experience. So I am going to show you ways that you can enhance your art, your painting experience with silicone wedges. So anyway, here we go. I chose wedges because it's one of the tools that I use to get connected to the canvas, to get connected to my insides. You might use this exercise, this practice, to simply, get familiar with how to use wedges and the effects that you can get. So using them for kind of like a wedge play. The tools today that we can use for art have just like, everything's a tool. Walk outside, pick up a leaf, it's a tool. Anything that you'd like to use. So today I want to focus on wedges because I discovered wedges, I can't even say I discovered them, like came upon them. I don't even know how I came up with the wedges, but I ended up purchasing some. And first of all, I like because they fit into the hand really well. Okay, so they're like ergonomically designed to fit right into the hand, which is immediately for me that connection. Okay, anything that connects me and helps me to connect into the experience. And what I mean by connecting to the experience is that I'm letting go of the need to know the outcome. So my focus is not on like a masterpiece or a finished piece of work. The focus is me being in that moment, connected viscerally, like emotionally, physically with a wedge for a spiritual experience. And really that's what the exciting part is that, I can let go of all of that stuff, including my fear of failure, a fear of having, like, what is this? So this isn't about what anybody thinks about my expression. This is just my own personal experience. Now, what happens with that experience is really none of our business. Sometimes they do turn into a piece of work, a beautiful piece of work. I've got a couple of pieces behind me that I painted, I was painting live. And this is one of the pieces where I used a wedge in my experience. So I've got quite a few pieces here. These abstract pieces are beautiful, and the experience is really where my focus was. I wasn't necessarily thinking, oh, I want to create a painting so I can sell it. I was just in that painting experience. So that's what I want to bring you into is that centeredness, that creative well of yours that's just waiting to release and be activated, whatever's inside of you, so that you can make that something that's invisible, visible, okay? So, and don't be afraid. So, I have gone through periods where I have been afraid to paint because I thought, I don't want the ugliness that I'm feeling to come out of the painting. I don't want anyone to see that. As we know, life is messy. It's not always predictable, in most cases it's not predictable, oh my goodness. And so if I bring my life experience into a creative template, like that design or vision, it's a lot easier for me to get back into that centered place and just to, be willing to put it all out there, okay? So anyway, follow me, you can hop on my art group page. I have lots of things in there, and of course I'd love to hear from you and find out about your experience, what you got out of today, and perhaps something that has set you off and you have some questions and you want to talk about other things more. So anyway, let me just show you that first of all of these are wedges. Some of them are by it looks like most of them are by the same maker, but there's all different makers. Like this one is very flexible. Okay, and it has 4 sides to it. All the little teeth are in different designs, if you will. These are not perfect. They range from very small teeth all the way to large. These are all the same size. These are all the same size, but a little smaller. And then these, again, a little smaller. So it's fun to work with them. You can work with one side or you can work with both. Okay, so however the mood moves you, because once you get connected, you'll find that, and this is for me, I move with the experience. So sometimes, you know, what I'll find is like a movement that maybe has shown up in life, or maybe it's a movement that's helping me to work something out inside. See, I don't have to have all that information to have the experience, and that's the cool part about this. So this one is another one that's very flexible. Okay, it's larger. This has waves here, so it has that wavy experience, you know, like expression, but it also is, it's notched, all right? I will say that. This one has that kind of like torn edge look to it, so you can like simply lay it down for a design, or you can move it around for a design, as well as the little saw. It's got more of a saw kind of thing, and this is the square notches with the larger gaps in between. So, and this one is kind of like half hole punches, all right? So you've got this kind of like a stamp, right? These are like little teeth, but at an angle, all right? So that's that. And then this is another kind of notch, which I don't know, I don't really have a name for that. Also, you'll know that these wedge kind of silicone tools are available smaller with a wooden handle. So those are, and plus there's probably so many more that I haven't even seen yet. So these are just a few that I've been using that I will share with you. So anyway, these are great to be used, but you want to use heavy-bodied paints, all right? That's going to give you the best result. If you use a paint that's too thin, you may not get the same, you know, the effect that you're looking for. Wedges are also good. You can use these like with hot wax. You can use them with different, the textures, if you will, different molding clays and gels and things like that. Gels might be a little bit loose, but the paste for sure. And cleanup's easy. Now, this is my cleanup. Sometimes my cleanup doesn't happen right away, but as you can see, even after a very dry in a long time period, see how these just easily, like this paint just peels right off. Okay, so they're very easy to clean up, even if it's like months later. And I will tell you, this is at least months later. Okay, so anywho, all right, so I picked out like 5 colors. You could pick out 3 to 5 colors. I wouldn't use any more than 5 because it's a lot. So, you know, I may even just start out with, say, 3, all right? And again, this is just a little demo for me today. Experiment, you know, let yourself go, find out what's working for you. What is your color palette? What colors do you find yourself drawn to? What colors do you feel the need to work with? Those are things you can start pulling out. And you can use this like a morning meditation experience. You know, you can ask yourself a few questions, like, what do I need for balance? What do I need for energy? What would I need for calming? What is it that you need and want? And then pick colors to support that. So anyhow, this morning I've been spending some time outdoors lately, and so all of my colors are outdoorsy kind of colors. I've got a green, blue, brown, yellow, and kind of an orange color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with, I'm going to start with the blue, the brown, and the orange. All right. Actually, I'm going to start with blue, brown, and green. All right. So anyway, those are kind of like landscape colors. And I'm just going to squeeze those colors out onto a paper plate or a piece of parchment paper. Try and get something flat. You know, if you have like something that usually has, you know, sides or a lip to it, I wouldn't suggest using that, but it may work for you. There's no rules, you know that. I don't like to use something with sides because I tend to like move around a lot. And so I've got 3 colors here. I've got the green, I've got this kind of a, let's see, what color is this? Burnt sienna, and I've got my blue. All right, and now you can work with a color at a time, and I just inherently just picked up the one with a straight edge. All right, so that's where I'm at this moment. And what I'm going to do is just pick up some paint and place it right on this wedge, and then I'm going to begin to place paint. Okay, so by stroking back and forth as I come, see how fun this is? Now, again, depending on how many colors you use, and then I can flip it over, right? See where my pressure has been, so those are the colors. If you're working on a large piece and say, you know, especially if you're looking for it to dry quickly, I paint live, so a lot of times that's, you know, depending on what the event is or the nature of it, it'll help me to select tools and the mediums that I want to use, right? So you can see how well this goes right in. And again, I really pressed it into the canvas, so it's not moving. There's not a lot of excess there. And there's still a little bit of paint on here, so I could still do this. And you can start moving in different directions too. Okay? So that's just to give you an idea. This is just after the first swipe. All right? And so now I'm going to go in and I'm going to take a couple of other colors just for demonstration purposes, just to give you an idea. And we'll use a different wedge. And like I mentioned earlier, you know, it connects me to the canvas, but also these different designs help add texture to a painting. Now, this could be all through the painting, or it can also be towards the end of a painting. So I have used these as textures at the very end with some of the metallics, which has been really cool. So that, you know, that helps to just pop those areas that you want to accent or bring some metallic to. So I'm going to go in, I just picked up this stamp one, so I'm going to go with it. Let me add my other color here. I'm going to get that orangey color. Yellow, let's see. Oh, I chose that instead of the brown. Okay. Well, very cool. Okay, so I'm just going to smash that around a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is start taking it, and I'm going to bring it in this way. Oops, I picked up the smooth canvas, the smooth edged. Okay, so I'm going to transfer that over. Let's see if I can do that. You know, another great time to do this technique is after you've painted and you have paint left over on your palette or whatever surface that you're pulling your paint from. You've got leftover paint, so why not take your wedge and maybe you have a canvas pad that you doodle on or you practice with. Maybe you have some canvas paper that you do some drawings on or paints on. You could go ahead and prep the backgrounds for those with your leftover paint, all right? So there's a lot of different ways you could use this. So let me see, I'm gonna put this back, I guess, on a paper plate. Like I said, I picked up that smooth side and I was gonna do something different. And because this is a smaller canvas, I think what I'm gonna do is use one of the flexible pieces, right? And we'll get that smaller texture. And start bringing it up this way, maybe. Pull some of that green. Let's see if I can get that. I'll put some more green on the, just thinking that would be a good color to pull into this design. So you just kind of go with it, right? Again, we're in a painting experience. We're not thinking about, what am I making? All right, so here we go. Look at, this is coming along nicely. I'm gonna see if I can bring it, I know this green is a little soft, but you can see this and it's really kind of nice where it's going. I like the feel of it. It's a vertical design. As I've been working it. Having said that, how does it feel this way? Okay, how does it feel horizontally? All right, it's got a different feel to it. Now, it could be this way, and it could also be this way. all right? It could be upside down this way. So that's the other part of this is it plays into some of your composition and it can help you. And that's part of being in the flow, all right? Because again, we start out with one direction in one area, having that experience, but we may feel the need to turn the canvas or to change it up in that way, and that would help you with your next colors for sure. So I'm going to, typically I feel like letting this dry a little bit. I'm big, another part of my process is editing. I call it editing. And I use water and paper towels. I use some different things to start changing it up. And I'm tempted to do that. And I probably will, but we need to let it dry a little bit. So anyhow, this I really feel like completes the demo I have for the wedge. I've got some blue here, so I'm a little curious. All right, if we do a little wavy. Okay, we could do a little something like that, right? Different direction. Said I use paper towels. We can do a little scruffing, right? Because when it goes on thin like this, it's very easy to manipulate it and do that little bit of a grunge kind of feel to it. Whether it's blotting or rocking that along. Don't be afraid to move it around. You may feel the need to do some roughing up, okay, to have something energetically. Kind of like, you know, again, going back to my original questions, what do you need? What do you need for you? Sometimes we get up and we want to exercise. It's like, what form, what medium do I need today? Do I need something energizing, calming, balancing? What is it that I need? And sometimes it just feels good to put paint on and then take it off. And when you take it off, it's going to leave behind something. And so it's exciting. I mean, I love this. And sometimes when we take it off, right, it takes off the original as well. So we've got that other marking coming in. Right here you'll see in the lower corner how it's not only removed that outer color, but also parts of the color that was previously applied. All right, so it might even happen again down here. It's hard for me not to just keep going, but I've got to, I'm going to pull some water. Hang on a second here. This is a good trick and probably a good idea too. If you feel like you're trying to control things too much, you know, like all of a sudden you're like, I'm back in, I'm trying to make a particular shape happen, or, ooh, I don't like that line. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you feel like it's impeding the experience, if you're no longer in the experience and you're doing it, but you're doing it because of another reason, it's probably a good idea to let go a little bit more, or to step back and regroup. So one of the ways that I do that is with water. All right, because when I spray water on a canvas, I am powerless. I have no control over what that water is going to do, as long as I leave it alone, right? So I'm going to spray, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okay, we'll see. Go. Again, I'd love to hear what kind of inspiration this brings to your experience. What is it that you maybe want or need right now? How does this help you with that? Also, if there's any questions you have about, you know, another way to use this or your experience, maybe you've got a great idea, maybe you use the wedge in a certain way and you want to share that with us. I'd love to hear about it. Okay, so the water's been on there for a little while. So I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm going to begin blotting. Okay, so maybe you've done this before, and if you have, we never know what's going to happen, right? What that water is doing to the painting, to this design. But see how fun this is? All right, this is fun. Sometimes it's exciting just to, again, be in that process. And I feel like what I want to do with this, I'm pulling up some of the paint that's still wet up here. And so as you can see, I just kind of blended that right in. And so I've still got this coming here. Now, I will probably take this and sit with it a little bit and kind of just really take a look, maybe take a picture of it and really meditate upon it. See what I'm seeing. What am I sensing or feeling? All right, I like to take the picture and also look at it from different perspectives. All right, so I'll turn the painting, I'll see it every which way, and then a lot of times what I'll do with these, I will begin to paint, or I can doodle with paint or with a paint marker, all right, and begin to just let it happen like a meditation. So I will, I'll get back with you on that. You'll see some pictures I'll add to this post, to this video, and so you can see kind of where you might go from here. You know, what you might do with a piece like this. Because, you know, one of the things that I think we don't do enough of is play and practice. Again, because we're so set on being practical, having that outcome that we want, wanting an outcome but not doing the footwork to develop the skill to be able to produce that kind of effect or desired result. So I think it's really important to take time out to play. And that's just what these demos are all about, is to help you to play and to give space to that each week. I mean, we've spent a little over 20 minutes this morning, and you know, that there's a lot that can happen in this time. A lot of inspiration. Sometimes we are blocked and we don't even realize it, or maybe we do. And so maybe you've watched this and you've just sat there and watched. Great. Maybe you'll want to now go get a few paints, get your supplies, come back, watch it again, and play along. All right? So anyhow, thanks for tuning in. I really enjoyed our time together. Stay tuned, and of course, check out some of my other videos. All right? Okie doke. Bye-bye.